competitive world, average won't cut it. The Success Launch Point shows you how to stand out, deliver massive value, and rise above the crowd. With on-demand courses, expert coaching, and a community focused on growth, you'll accelerate your career and your paycheck. It's time to level up. Check out modernobserver.com/launchpoint.
Increased military activity in the Caribbean, talks with Putin postponed, a new way to surf the web, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Vice President J.D. Vance traveled to Israel on Tuesday to shore up the ceasefire in Gaza after the IDF exchanged fire with Hamas. Vance told the press the ceasefire is going better than I expected, and that he is confident that we're going to be in a place where this peace lasts. Meanwhile, with anti-Semitism on the rise, a resurfaced video of a shirtless Graham Plattner, Democratic Senate candidate in Maine, showed a Nazi logo tattooed on his chest. Plattner denied being a secret Nazi and says he drunkenly got the tattoo while he was deployed as a Marine in Croatia. Plattner is facing Maine's Governor Janet Mills in a Democratic primary to unseat longtime GOP Senator Susan Collins. The United States has significantly increased its military presence across the Caribbean as part of a new expanded campaign targeting drug trafficking networks operating near Venezuela. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced the creation of the Counter-Narcotics Joint Task Force, coordinating air, maritime, and special operations missions, marking the largest U.S. military effort in the region in decades. The deployment, which has already seen 7 strikes on suspected drug boats, is viewed by analysts as a 21st century version of gunboat diplomacy, aimed at deterring state-linked trafficking networks and potentially putting pressure on Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro. Democratic Senator John Fetterman told reporters Tuesday that he would support Republicans using the so-called nuclear option to override the Senate filibuster to pass a bill to reopen the government. Fetterman said the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, is running out of money and people need to eat as the government shutdown dragged into its 21st day. There are no winners here. It's not getting better every day here. People are going to start to get really hungry, and I've been fully committed to fund SNAP. Open up the government, he said. This is just bad political theater. The White House announced Tuesday that a proposed summit between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Budapest has been put on hold, stating there are no plans for a meeting in the immediate future. The postponement followed a call between Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, which failed to resolve key differences. Lavrov insisted Tuesday that Moscow's goal to eliminate the root causes of the conflict, which implies asserting control over Ukraine, remains unchanged. The development comes days after Trump publicly urged both Moscow and Kiev to freeze the conflict along current battle lines, a stance that has failed to secure Russian cooperation. A federal interagency working group led by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has been meeting for months to examine what officials describe as the abuse and weaponization of government under President Biden, a senior ODNI official confirmed to News Nation. The Interagency Weaponization Working Group was created under President Donald Trump's Executive Order 14147, signed on his first day in office, directing agencies to end the weaponization of government and review recent intelligence activities. The order instructs the DNI to identify any instances where conduct appears contrary to the purpose of this order. 62% of Americans believe the federal government has too much power, a record high according to a new Gallup poll. More Democrats believe the government has too much power than Republicans for the first time since 2007. 40% of Americans, however, believe the government should do more. A new type of blood test could help detect multiple cancers early. A team of researchers in California studied a new multi-cancer early detection test called Galeri, which can reportedly detect more than 50 types of disease. The study analyzed about 23,161 participants 50 years of age and older across the US and Canada who did not have any symptoms. OpenAI launched a new web browser. OpenAI announced its own web browser yesterday, ChatGPT Atlas, which incorporates the company's signature AI chatbot. With Atlas, ChatGPT can come with you anywhere across the web, all without copying and pasting or leaving the page, OpenAI wrote in a blog post. The browser, which directly competes with Google's Chrome, is only available on Mac OS for now, but is coming soon to iOS, Windows, and Android. Shares of Google parent company Alphabet dropped by a few points following the announcement. Fears of a Thanksgiving turkey shortage are rising after the nation's turkey flock shrank to its smallest size in 40 years, primarily due to an outbreak of the avian flu. The USDA reported that nearly 514,000 turkeys have been affected this month alone, with the majority of cases occurring in Minnesota. This loss of birds and tighter production have caused wholesale turkey prices to rise 40% from last year, with prices forecast to hit about $1.32 per pound. While major producers like Butterball assure that plenty of frozen birds are available, consumers may struggle to find specific sizes or fresh turkeys for the holiday. Amazon aims to automate 75% of its operations. The e-commerce giant expects automation will help to avoid hiring 600,000 workers, while it plans to double deliveries by 2033, according to internal documents the New York Times reported yesterday. Amazon plans to forego onboarding 160,000 humans in the U.S. between 2025 and 2027. The company expects that this will save it 30 cents per item shipped, which comes out to $12.6 billion. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.